Philadelphia, are you ready?
He said, are you ready?
This is Brotherly Love Wrestling Podcast, your first stop for everything professional wrestling. So sit back and enjoy wrestling talk at its finest with your hosts, Larry Hall and Joe Corrado.
Welcome everybody to another episode, a St. Patrick's Day episode of Brotherly Love Wrestling Podcast. And with this crazy environment that is our world today, we figured let's just talk about wrestling and keep it light and try and distract everybody, at least for a little bit, and just talk about wrestling. So, Joe?
But we're doing it following the guidelines of being at least 6 feet away from each other, thus being 2 towns away from each other.
Yes.
So, we are in quarantine.
We are social distancing each other.
Socially distancing each other. We should have been doing this long ago. I want to socially distance from everybody.
So, I think we jump right in. The biggest news, I guess, right now is that WrestleMania will be held at the Performance Center in front of 0 fans. Still the same date at 7 o'clock on Sunday, April 5th, excuse me. What do you think about this, Joe? What's your opinion on this?
It's twofold. I mean, good for them for not letting anybody in just like they should be. Like, no one should be allowed, especially 80,000 people piled into an arena. I mean, the other part of me is, it's going to lose a lot. I mean, I have faith that they can pull something off, but I think they're going to lose a lot. I mean, the crowd reaction is everything.
Yeah, and I think we've seen that, especially on Raw last night. SmackDown, not as much. I mean, of course, SmackDown, you've seen it, but I think when you have guys like The Undertaker and Stone Cold come out, there's certain reactions that you expect and you're used to. And when Stone Cold comes out and you hear crickets other than his music playing, it's so unsettling, it's eerie, it's just so weird. And a WrestleMania moment, which is what WWE loves to talk about when it comes to WrestleMania, you need the fans to be involved in that moment. What would Daniel Bryan winning that title be without 80,000 fans? You know what I mean? It just doesn't seem right.
Here's the thing. What they're going to have to do, which is what quote-unquote WrestleMania isn't usually all about, isn't usually the wrestling. It's more the spectacle. So what they're going to have to do, although they kind of work themselves into a corner with some of these matches, they're going to have to rely on the actual wrestling to be the entertainment, because Raw and SmackDown have proven that these weird vignettes and these weird promos to nobody and coming out to playing to a no crowd, it doesn't fit the TV. It doesn't fit the format. They need the crowd. They need to play to someone. They need that crowd to be there. But if you're playing good wrestling and there's good matches, I mean, yes, the crowd reaction is there, but the wrestling is what you appreciate after when it's all said and done, not the weird promos and the sketches that they do. Yeah,
well, I agree with that. It's just, when you look at, all right, for instance, Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre is going to get his quote-unquote WrestleMania moment and win and beat Brock Lesnar and overcome and finally get his title, and he's going to stand up on the corner and there's going to be nobody cheering. It's just it takes away from WrestleMania. It really does. As great as some of these matches can be, and the potential is for them, I don't know. It takes it away.
All right, here's my thing. I mean, WrestleMania it is the World Series of professional wrestling, the Super Bowl of professional wrestling. But I think this year they bite the bullet, and it's not going to be what we expect it to be. I think that no titles change, and they just put on the show. They just put on the show, no titles change, and they build for, hopefully, what will be SummerSlam, which will end up being their biggest show of the year.
I would love to get a reaction from fans to at least what they would think of that, because then you're going against anointing McIntyre, the next guy, and you're going to have to wait till August.
Yeah, but maybe they wait till August. I mean, we don't know how long this fucking crazy ass shit's going to be lasting anyway.
Yes.
I mean, we might not get till August. We might have to wait till August anyway, till it's back to normal, till at least somewhat normal. So, I mean, really, everyone's got to play this patience and waiting game, because wrestling isn't going to be the same as we're used to for a little bit, at least. So, I mean, WrestleMania being just another wrestling show that is a WWE show that has no titles. There may be a minor title change hands, but all the big titles, I think, should stay in the respectful owner's hands, so to speak, and change during SummerSlam, where you can actually pile people in and get the reaction that you want.
Now, I heard this rumor at least 3 or 4 times, reading social media, at least today anyway.
Madison Square Garden?
Yes, the rumor that this is just a part of the insurance policy that Vince has taken out, and that they have to make every effort that they can to show that they're trying to make it work in order for Orlando to turn around and cancel Mania at the Performance Center, because there'll be too many people in one space at the Performance Center for Mania itself anyway, because you're going to have the whole roster there, plus the camera people and whatever. And then,
so when would you have Mania?
From what the rumor is, and again, this is a rumor, but they're saying June 7th at Madison Square Garden, and with, obviously, by that point, it would be with fans. So you do WrestleMania at MSG with fans. I'm not opposed to that idea, just because, again, the fan aspect for me is everything when it comes to WrestleMania. I mean, wrestling alone, but WrestleMania especially. Tampa Bay, are they going to be pissed off and annoyed and wish it was them? Of course, but if we still get WrestleMania, would you be okay it being that way?
Me? Personally?
Yeah. Yes.
Being on the East Coast and only an hour and a half drive from New York, so I can catch not WrestleMania, but the Collective, hopefully. They would run and postpone with WrestleMania. I'd be all for that.
Yeah.
We could drive to all the shows that we want to go see.
Yes. Yeah.
So am I opposed to that? No. I think it's a great idea. Not only that, but, I mean, how many people could they fit for a WrestleMania in Madison Square Garden?
18, 17 maybe?
Nah, they'd have to find seating, because they're going to pack like 25 into that place.
Well, I mean, it all depends on the stage as well, though. You know what I mean? It depends on what they have to close off for the stage. So usually on a Monday Night Raw, you get 18.5 in the Garden. So, and that's just the regular stage. Who knows? Maybe. I mean, look. At least you're getting some fans. You're not getting empty seats. So you're gonna take it where you can get it. Honestly, at that point.
Yeah. I mean, there's certain people that need the reaction. Like, we need to hear the reaction when Edge comes out to his first WrestleMania in 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we need to hear that reaction. So, I mean, as cool as, I don't know, it's just weird. It's just a weird moment where, do I think they should have the show? I mean, I like that they're trying and they're sticking to their guns, but do I wish that WrestleMania was in front of a crowd? Yeah. I mean, I'd wish that, and it'd be a safe crowd that doesn't have to worry about catching fucking something crazy just by standing next to someone.
Yeah, and you know what? I do got to say, with SmackDown and a couple of the indies that had been running over the weekend with empty seats, and then, of course, Monday Night Raw, and coming up tomorrow night with NXT and AEW also doing empty arenas, you got to give it to wrestling, because wrestling has been that outlet now. It is the only outlet, because there is no sports. All the sports have shut down, and wrestling's all we got. And for people that are very negative about SmackDown and about Monday Night Raw, I thought I really did not really like the Royal Rumble being on Monday Night Raw, the entire Rumble. As much as I loved the Rumble the first time, it's about the surprises for me. But the rest of the show, I didn't mind, because all this is a big distraction, and I appreciate the wrestling and those people going out there and at least giving us for 2-3 hours distraction from every bullshit that's going on of people buying up thousands of toilet paper for no reason and shit like that.
Yes. No, I don't want to. I don't want to blow past this. I don't want to blow past this.
Mm-hmm.
This is a fucking virus that affects your lungs and gives you a headache and a fever. What the fuck does that have to do with wiping your ass? In all seriousness, what the hell does that have to do with wiping your ass? As well as eating fucking bread, eggs, fucking chicken, and the only thing I understand, although not fully understand, just a little bit understand, is the soap and the hand sanitizer. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
And some cleaning products, like Lysol wipes and shit like that. Like, I understand that. People want to get clean. Do I agree with hoarding it all for your fucking self? No. Buy a normal amount so everyone can buy a normal amount, you fucking savages. But the toilet paper and the fucking paper towels, what the hell does that have to do with any part of this? What do these people think?
Well, I think the idea was actually because everyone was afraid that things were going to start shutting down, or trucking companies were not going to be able to get more supplies to these grocery stores or whatever. And
that's bullshit.
And
how many times are you
that.
wiping your ass? These people that are buying 6 loaves of bread, like, how you're going to have to eat a loaf of bread a day before it goes fucking bad.
Mm-hmm.
Bread goes bad in like a week and a half.
Yep. Yeah, I
what
don't.
the fuck is this?
I don't get it. I don't know. That being said, I did buy an extra thing of toilet paper just because it was completely gone.
Yeah, because now people are fucking have to buy extra because now everyone else is buying extra. So everyone's going fucking crazy, and now I'm wiping my ass with fucking leaves. Although I'm pretty stacked with baby wipes right now, so
I was gonna say Quinn's helping you out in that one.
I have untapped potential. So we will get by, but the looniness and craziness that is going on is just ridiculous.
Yeah, from people being shut down at work and not being able to make money at work to, buying up all these things. There's a lot of shit going on in our country and across the world, for that matter, that people are going a little too far. These
people, they got to be quarantined. They get off of work, so that instantaneously, because they're off from work now, all of a sudden they have to shit a lot. Look, I'm not saying I understand it. They spend 8 hours on the toilet just shitting. I need all this toilet paper. I gotta have a clean ass. I'm at home. I gotta have a clean ass. I can't just hop right in the shower and bidet myself. I gotta fucking wipe my goddamn ass 16 fucking times every hour.
Well, I think that's more for the women who have to wipe every time they go as opposed to the men, so it's a little different. But, I agree.
Here's the thing. You turn on the shower, you bend over, you little water up there, whoop, and now you're clean.
Or you just go to your hardware store and you buy a bidet. I mean, you could do it that way, too. Save everyone money.
You get a hose connection for the freaking tub, and you hose yourself down.
So let's go back to wrestling now. Wednesday night, tomorrow night, we got Dynamite, we got NXT. Dynamite, I mean, like the last couple weeks, I'm going to be watching predominantly and watching it first because just for the mere fact that the Exalted One is supposed to be revealed tomorrow night.
I don't think that's going to happen. You can't reveal. You can't have your big reveal in front of nobody.
Look, if you can have Stone Cold Steve Austin, one of the biggest stars in the history of the business, walk out in front of nobody, why can't you reveal Matt Hardy or whoever the hell it's going to be as the Exalted One?
Well, here's the thing. Because they had already announced that Stone Cold, there was no surprise factor.
They already announced last week that the Exalted One was going to come.
Yes, but this is a different story altogether. Stone Cold has come out thousands of times. So, I mean, I just feel like the Exalted One needs to be revealed when everything's back to normal. Although, it's all about TV ratings and whatnot, and they would probably have the TV ratings through the roof if they actually did it.
Yeah. And not only that, they're not stopping on social media because Evil Uno he's still putting out all these wrestlers that are not the Exalted One. So I don't think they're stopping. I think they are going through with the plan as booked, and I think we are going to find out who it is come tomorrow night.
Look, Evil Uno is kind of like the wrestling version of Mari when they do the "You're Not the Father."
That's very true.
Marco Stunt is not the father. Luchasaurus is not the father.
But then,
so that's who he is now.
If that happens, NXT for me recently, they haven't been, advertising. They haven't been advertising or finding a way to pull me away from NXT.
Well, they're definitely not going to. You mean AEW?
I'm sorry, yes, AEW, yeah.
Well, they're not going to do it now because just because of the lack of attendance and how it's just going to be kind of weird.
Yeah.
They're going to kind of go through the motions of their storylines. And, everyone hates on Impact and whatnot and how, they're TV taped and whatnot. But Impact's on tonight, and guess what? It's going to be in front of a live crowd because it's taped.
Yes.
But it's going to be new.
Yeah.
To the fans watching at home. So, of all the things that they've done wrong, Impact, and how people hate on them for being taped, well, guess what? You're getting freaking wrestling tonight that's new and in front of an audience. So,
no, and you know what? They don't get enough credit, Impact, because they have so much talent on that roster. But I don't think enough people watch Impact and really appreciate what the show that they do put on.
They know how to get buzz when it comes pay-per-view time. I don't think it draws the numbers that they want, but they know how to get the buzz at least from the internet crowd and whatnot. They did it with the whole Callahan Blanchard storyline, and when she finally won, that was probably their biggest buzz. And then after that, they kind of fizzled out. Now that it happened, they didn't really seize on the momentum.
I thought the Blanchard and Valkyrie lead up and the match itself was another one they delivered on. It was a very good match. First time in history where two women fought for the world title. I thought that was really well. What?
Tessa won that, I'm assuming?
Yes, Tessa won that, yes.
Yeah, see, they didn't have the same steam going into it.
No, I agree there. The Sammy and her story and the build and all and her winning was definitely a lot bigger than the first. And the first women's match for the world title deserved a lot more than what it got, to be honest, as far as the fanfare and the build. But it was still a very good story and a very good match. And Tessa ended up winning.
Imagine if it was freaking Becky versus Charlotte for
the world title.
The Universal title.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be a really, really big deal.
It would be a big deal, but I still don't think it would generate the same amount of buzz as like Brock Lesnar versus, I don't know. Probably, the Lesnar Goldberg build wasn't really a build, but it still had a lot of buzz around it.
You don't think that a Charlotte Becky match for the Universal title would have a lot of buzz around it?
It would have a lot of buzz around it, but I don't think it would still gather around more buzz than a Lesnar Universal title match, depending on who his opponent was. Like, if you were to do Lesnar and Lesnar, say, Triple H.
Yeah.
And this is Triple H. If he wins it, he's the champion. If he loses it, he retires. Like, something like that would have more buzz around it than Becky Charlotte. But that's not fair.
Yeah.
Because that's a legend and soon-to-be legend.
So now, going back to Triple H, I'm glad you said that, because Friday night on SmackDown, Triple H is on commentary. And I was surprised at the amount of positive feedback that Triple H got, because I thought a lot of people were going to jump on him for being corny, for trying to act cool, and I don't know if it was because a lot of people are just giving them the leeway because of what the atmosphere of the country is, but I always enjoy Triple H on the mic. I always enjoy his personality and his sense of humor. But I was shocked that they were still so positive, and a lot of people enjoyed it.
I'm not overly surprised. I mean, Triple H is one of those guys that can get a rise out of it. I mean, people don't hate Triple H. People still like Triple H.
Yes.
So it would have been more interesting if Vince would have hopped on.
Yeah, it would have.
How that would have went, or Shane McMahon, or someone like that, or frickin' Stephanie for that matter.
Well, and then
McMahon.
And then you turn around on last night on Monday, and Asuka's on, and she gets the same reaction that Hunter got, and everyone putting out these memes of wanting Hunter and Asuka as a commentary team. I'm not a big fan of this. I mean, I like this Asuka. I love the Kabuki Warriors, but the whole just her spitting gibberish and people thinking it's gold is kind of weird to me. I don't think it. It's not gibberish. It's her native language. No. There are some now. Look. There are times, yes, where she's actually speaking her native language. I understand that, but there are times where she does spout a lot of gibberish, and that's the shit that I just think.
Wait, how do you know it's gibberish?
Because there are some times where she's literally speaking the language, and then sometimes where she's making noises. There is a difference.
Yeah, but I think it's all about her delivery, and if this is her way to get over, then good on her. Because
look, if it's working for her, great. I'm not as all in for it as a lot of people are, and I'm honestly surprised because I think a lot of corny things are getting over, and I'm surprised by the fans, especially the climate of what the fans usually like, that they actually like this.
This might be a blessing in disguise for wrestling as a whole, and might get people to appreciate what we have a little bit more than taking advantage of, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I mean, I agree. I definitely agree with that, especially with fans not being able to attend these events. And maybe it's a good thing that maybe more people, once everything resumes and they start coming back to the cities and doing live events, that people will be like, oh man, I really want to go to a wrestling event now. And wrestling in general, I'm not just saying WWE, but wrestling in general, it's going to make you itch to want to go to a live event because no one can go, because you're only able to watch it at home. So you really want to be a part of these wrestling events, regardless of what company it is.
Not only that, but I mean, you have to remember, like, when this is all said and done, these companies, the big companies, AEW, WWE, they tried to keep you entertained while they really didn't have to. They could have closed up shop, and just like everybody else, like, they're sitting there delivering weekly wrestling TV for you for the fans.
Yes.
So you have to appreciate this when this is all done, that you have to remember, like, look, they tried when no one else wanted to. When everyone else shut down, they fucking gave us something to watch.
Yeah, and that's the one reason why I'm trying not to be as critical as I may be in the past, because it's just exactly because it's just, look, they're doing whatever they can to, like Triple H said, put a smile on everybody's face, and at least for 2 hours or 3 hours, depending on the show, let you forget and let you just sink into wrestling and just like it. So that's one reason why, was seeing the Rumble again for me a little bit boring? Yeah, of course it was. But I still popped it at Edge. I still enjoyed seeing McIntyre eliminate Brock. There was a lot of points where, even though I knew it was coming, I still liked watching it again. So they still got me. I thought the Edge promo was great. Him talking right into the camera and the passion that he had. And the AJ and the Undertaker thing, that's the other thing, is a lot of people talking about Undertaker. Maybe this is a nod to going to American Badass. I don't know. I'm down for that, but can you really do American Badass entrance with no fans, going back to if they're really doing it at the Performance Center?
I think you can do that more than you can do the regular Undertaker entrance. It's just him riding the motorcycle down.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, if you're bringing him back, that's another thing where you want to hear the pop of shocking the fans and surprising the fans that American Badass is back. Yeah,
well, maybe the rumors will be true and he'll be American Badass in July or June, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. There's so much that has to happen. I hope that all the words of it's going to last through August, through September, I hope that it ends a lot sooner than people are anticipating, and we do get wrestling to come back with fans, because as great as this is that they're busting their ass to give us what they have been, it's just going to be that much better once the regular shows return.
Yeah, well, when just in general, everything will be fucking better when we get back to a little bit of normalcy.
Yeah. So
people won't be as stir crazy.
Yeah, for sure. I do want to mention, before we kind of wrap this part of the show up, our bracket, our 215 Wrestling Madness bracket, has entered the 2 Sweet 16, and right now the AEW bracket had just finished, so we have Kylie Ray and Joey Ryan moving on to the Elite Eight, the All Elite Eight.
You mean independent wrestling bracket?
The independent region, and they are moving on to the All Elite Eight, and tomorrow, being Wednesday, will be the AEW region of the bracket. And so if you're listening and you haven't been voting or haven't been following along, whether you're on Facebook or on Twitter, and on Facebook it's in our story, on Twitter it's usually our pinned post, and you can follow the thread to vote. But
I guess it wasn't fair to us to give Kylie Ray a 16 seed, huh?
Right? She's upsetting every single person she's facing.
She beat the 1 and the 2 seed?
Yes. Yeah. She is. She might do it.
Win it.
Yeah. She might be the underdog to take it out. The Cinderella story.
I don't think there's any. Is there any other women left? Ripley in the.
No, Ripley just got beat by Finn Balor.
So there's no other women left in the whole bracket, is there?
No, Kylie Ray is the only one left.
Oh, I hope she wins it. I hope she comes out of the Indy. Hope she at least comes out of the Indy in the Final Four.
Yeah, I hope so too.
She's got a strong dong to beat, though. Imagine fucking Joey Ryan wins the whole thing.
That'd be pretty cool as well. I wouldn't mind that.
Funny as hell.
But yeah, so we hope you.
What are your predictions for the Final Four? Remember, we don't get the vote, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to us. So I don't know, the Final Four. I think coming out of the independent, I'm going to stick with Kylie Ray, because she's just been this juggernaut and upsetting everybody. So I kind of can't go against her right now.
All right.
Joey Ryan beating Effie was kind of a surprise, as hot as Effie has been. But I think I see Drew McIntyre coming out of the WWE region, which will be on Friday. And
who's he up against?
McIntyre's up against Owens, and then on the other part of that is number 2 seed The Fiend going up against Aleister Black.
Oh, Aleister Black's another one. He was the 12th seed.
Yes,
he's another one sneaking up there.
Yeah. They are the two lowest seeds, are the number 12 Aleister Black and Kylie Ray at 16.
Yeah, and then AEW was pretty true to form with Jericho.
Yeah, it's Jericho. Jericho was a 1 versus Omega, which is a 6. And then Moxley, who is number 2 seed, going up against Pac, who is a number 4. And that will be tomorrow's matchup. And then we have the NXT region, which will be Thursday, and that is Adam Cole, number 1, going up against Tommaso Ciampa, who is number 7, and Keith Lee, number 3, going up against number 4, Finn Balor.
Oh.
Yeah. So the
AEW and NXT are the toughest ones.
Yeah, and they're on the same side. So come down to the Final Four, we will have AEW versus NXT and the Indie region versus the WWE region to find out who goes on to the final.
All right, so I'm going to go Kylie Ray, Kevin Owens.
Ooh.
And then I'm going to go, I think Jericho finds a way to weasel it out to be the only number one seed that makes it.
Okay.
And then for NXT, so we got Cole, Ciampa, Keith Lee, and Finn Balor. Oh, Christ. I think Balor weasels over Keith Lee, and I think Ciampa beats out Cole.
Okay.
And I think Ciampa beats Balor.
Okay. So you're going to have Ciampa, Jericho, Kevin Owens, and Kylie Ray is your Final Four.
It might be a Jericho Owens. It might be a festival friendship.
I would be okay with that. That'd be a great final. I'm going to go with Moxley from AEW. I'm going to go with Keith Lee from NXT. I'm going to stick with Kylie Ray at number 16 going from the Indies. And I'm going to stick with McIntyre from the WWE. And I think, oh man, McIntyre versus Kylie Ray. I'm picking the Cinderella to go to the final. I'm picking number 16 seed Kylie Ray. And I'm going to pick Keith Lee and Moxley.
Moxley takes that.
Yeah, I think Moxley will probably beat Keith Lee. So we'll have a Kylie Ray versus Moxley final for me.
I think in your scenario, I think it's going to be McIntyre-Moxley.
You think so?
Yeah, but I think Moxley takes the whole thing in yours.
Yeah.
I think AEW might take the whole thing in mine, though. I think Jericho might win the whole thing.
Yeah, it's a strong possibility.
Tough.
Very tough.
This is fun for us, at least.
Look, I mean, there's a good amount of people voting. Usually we're averaging around 40 to 50 people for each poll, which is, look, it's not thousands, it's not hundreds. I don't care. As long as somebody is enjoying this and having fun, that's the whole reason we put it out. Same thing with Facebook. We don't have big numbers, but I have the same people voting every single day. So that means that people are enjoying it, and that's the whole reason that we were doing this. And now it's even more fun because there's less that we are entertained by now. So we hope that people that are participating, if you're listening, that you are enjoying it and having fun and this being a little bit of an escape. Because we don't have March Madness. We don't have college basketball brackets to fill out and follow. So we hope you enjoy this.
Playoff hockey.
Yes, or playoff basketball, playoff hockey, the start of baseball. We don't have any of that right now. So
yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's rough. So we hope.
It's grim.
Yeah, we hope that we can at least fill a little bit and help you out and fill some time and show a little bit of entertainment. So, speaking of entertainment, coming up, we have an interview, a returning guest to our show, the owner of Battle Club Pro. Joe returns again for us. And this is the reason that we have him on, is because we wanted to get the owner of a independent company and see how he's dealing with this and canceling shows and how he's dealing with his talent and trying to help his talent out. So I think we should throw it over to the interview and let's get started. All right, returning to the show is Joakim Morales. Joe, welcome back.
Hey man, so happy to be back.
The reason that we wanted to get Joe back on the show with us tonight is because he is a promoter and owner of Battle Club Pro. We wanted to get an inside look and really see, with this coronavirus going on, how it's affected independent wrestling from a first-hand standpoint. And Joe recently had to cancel a event that was upcoming right after WrestleMania weekend on April 8th, a Women Crush Wednesday 2. So, Joe, how has it affected your entire world, really?
It's awful. You sit back and you look at things on a grander scale. You see the number of cases and the number of those infected. They continue to grow. Fatalities, unfortunately, continue to grow. Those who are in critical condition continue to grow. I mean, even though it's, just about 4% of those who unfortunately, contract the virus, they're passing away. It's still, very, very sad. So, on the independent wrestling level, you try and hold out hope that you can still do what you love, but I mean, I saw it pretty early on. The week before, we ended up, having to postpone. My partners and I had the discussion, is this something we were going to have to do? It didn't seem at that moment to be getting too serious. The U.S. didn't seem, to be blowing up the way it has, as of late. But we had the discussion and we decided to move onward until the government would stop us. So this show was going to be at the school, the same venue that we did the Anything You Can Do show, the Unfinished Business show. And because it's through the video system, you have to put in, to pay for a permit. And the DOE had contacted me and said, right now the use of the building for a live wrestling event isn't an essential. It's not essential. You don't need to be doing this, so they denied me the permit. Once they denied me the permit, I was in the process of speaking to my partners about possibly finding something else, and literally, as I am talking to my partners, I'm deciding, maybe it's best if we just kind of, postpone it and just wait it out and see what happens. So as I'm writing an official statement to the talent, the news breaks that the NBA is canceling the rest of their season, suspending it indefinitely because the Utah Jazz player had tested positive. So that was confirmation for me. This is the right move. Wrestling will always be there, but you never want to ever have the feeling that you attributed or contributed to something that seems so vile. And it sucks because on a creative level, you're being hindered. It did break me apart. I mean, to know, to have a vision and, to know it's going to be coming together and to have all those creative juices just stripped away because, the world is in a pandemic. It's eye-opening and it's there are bigger forces at play here. So you kind of just have to sit back and take it. I mean, speaking for myself, speaking for a company like Uncanny Attractions, Effie's Big Game Brunch, Danny D'Amato, and ICW No Holds Barred. These are people I've worked with exclusively, face-to-face. Danny's been kind of, a mentor. He's always had an open door policy with me. DJ Hyde of CZW, just seeing all these, amazing companies being forced to change what they love to do because, the world is in crisis mode. It really does suck.
Now, I wanted to touch on what you said earlier. You said wrestling will always be here, but sometimes wrestling companies won't always be here. Do you see something like this pandemic, affecting the smaller wrestling companies in a way that they might not be able to continue after this?
The unfortunate, the sad truth is we don't know what the economy is going to look like. We don't know what our financial situation is, our financial
COVID-19 infection, this virus, because, yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, some of the smaller companies, some of the up-and-coming companies, some of the companies that, you know, absolutely need every single person in attendance, every dollar from a sponsor in order to be successful. Like, now, their primary focus is making sure their family is taken care of, and, you know, whatever excess means you might have that gives you the ability to run these shows, at least to front the money, and hopefully, you know, make it back at the door or for pre-shows or whatever, like, that's gone. Right now, the only thing you're worrying about is not spreading the disease, not spreading the virus, and keeping yourself and your family safe, and doing whatever you can to make sure that you will get through this, you know, kind of to quote Game of Thrones, like, to get through this long night, because that's what it's going to be like. We have yet to peak, and for me personally, like, New York has become the epicenter of this craziness. We've got the most cases in the States. New Rochelle has been, you know, in total quarantine for a few days now. So, yeah, like, a god-awful, you know, side effect is going to be those companies probably won't be around, but, you know, just like everything, like, we're going to get through it. Wrestling will be around, and hopefully those people who were running companies, maybe they can, you know, get together family style and do something bigger and better in the future. Maybe this time away gives you some clarity, or, you know, it reinvigorates the creative juices. Like, there is a lot to be down about. There's a lot to be sad about. There's a lot of just bad news going around. But as, you know, I'm a proponent of positivity. So as long as you're breathing and as long as you're given a chance to, you know, put yourself in the position to try it again, you absolutely should.
And to speak on the positive from all this, we were talking earlier, Larry and I, that, I mean, this will give people that were once complaining about wrestling for one reason or another, it should give them a new appreciation for what they got through this time. Like, there's no companies out there, I mean, albeit bigger and some smaller, that are still putting on shows just for the fans and just so they can get the independent wrestlers work.
Yeah, so, Mark Adam Haggerty reached out and he said, hey, like, I know it sucked, but, like, you pretty much were the first to pull the plug in the Northeast, and everybody seemed to have followed suit afterwards. Yes, it's an incredible feat to try your best and, you know, do whatever you can to help distract from what is going on in the world, but it should never be at the expense of the health of the people that support you. So I'm against smaller indies running right now, just because you don't know what it is, you know, that could happen. But speaking in terms of the fans, like, yes, these fans absolutely should have a new level of appreciation for companies like AEW and the WWE and NXT who are deciding to continue to run with no fans, because they want to give you something. They want to give you something. You know, they're taking absolutely every precaution, and there is only absolutely essential and necessary staff members and wrestlers are going to be at the venues for these empty arena shows. Like, it speaks volumes of the wrestling hierarchy to want to continue to entertain, because, like, there's nothing going on right now. Everything is rerun. There's no live, you know, shows coming up. Movies are being postponed. Sports are just totally stopped. Like, other than the NFL free agency period, there's nothing live action happening outside of these empty show arenas, empty arena shows, like, you know, SmackDown, Raw, NXT, you know, AEW. So, you know, those fickle fans, those fans that always find something to complain about, but maybe it does reset their mindset, and they are appreciative going forward, because when you're stripped down and you have nothing, whatever little you can get, you should appreciate wholeheartedly. Agreed. 100%.
Well, speaking of WrestleMania, this is something that me and Joe were talking about a little earlier. With WrestleMania coming up and them now moving it to the Performance Center in Orlando, what is your opinion on them holding it in front of no fans, just like Raw and SmackDown and NXT and all? Do you think that they should still do this, even though you're not going to have the fan reaction with such a big event, especially the event for WWE?
This is something I thought about, and obviously I don't think they'll do it, but I know as a promoter and having many workers as friends, there's not much better as a person in this position than to be able to watch a show when you're not working it. So WrestleMania at the Performance Center, I think, is totally fine, but why not allow the fans to watch their favorite wrestlers be fans? Why not put those wrestlers in the stands, with the whole social distancing regulations? Just, give the fans something. Give the wrestlers in the ring something to play off of. How great would it be to watch, Daniel Bryan and Drew Gulak to face like the OC and John Cena's in the stands cheering his former brother-in-law? It would be, not only would it be something different, it would add to the humanizing factor that WWE is pretty much the only one that has right now, because they're really the only ones putting on multiple shows, even though they're empty theaters. There'll be more of a connect. And, like you said, WrestleMania is supposed to be the Super Bowl, so, give them a crowd to perform in front of. It's not going to be the projected 70, 80, 90,000, but you know what? To sit there and say, hey, I'm performing at WrestleMania, and I'm being given the opportunity to do so in front of my peers while they're in the crowd, maybe it'll be a different dynamic. Maybe they'll go, just because it's on a more personal level, that independent wrestling feel, they'll go a little bit more outside the box or go a little bit harder, and that could translate to better matches and something more for the fans at home.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, if you were to see Baron Corbin sitting front row when Nakamura and Sami Zayn and Cesaro came out and he was booing the hell out of them, I mean, that would be hilarious, because you have these guys react as if they are fans, but not only that, react the appropriate way, where a heel should be booed or a babyface should be cheered or anything like that, because then there are the other fans, like real fans, who sometimes want to get themselves over instead of getting the wrestlers in the ring over, where wrestlers know how to react. They know what the reaction needs to be. So I think it makes it, or would make it, a little bit better if it was wrestlers reacting to the matches and to the characters themselves.
Right, I think it would be absolutely incredible. Because, you imagine, on the hard cam side, you have, the left side be the faces, the right side be the heels, and they do the slow clap, the build, the stomping, the bang, but then, the fans would be allowed to connect more with it. Because I've been watching, and it's not the same. It is entertainment, it's something that's continuing their storylines and working their angle and doing their best. But when you do something, when you gesture somehow, and you're looking for a reaction and you're not getting anything, it doesn't translate over the airwaves. But, if you're Select and you're doing the 3-2-1 before you kick Brock's head off, and you've got The Undertaker, John Cena, Rey Mysterio cheering along with you, that's pretty fucking awesome. Side note, I think the New Day would be the best fans ever. The New Day would be awesome. They'd be the ones throwing, the snacks all over the place.
So now, going forward, Do you have any plans, or is there a timeline in your head to where you might be thinking, okay, maybe at this point we can start to schedule something? Or is it just kind of touch and go and kind of play it by ear to when you can starting back up and start planning again?
Well, we announced a July 4th show in January, and by the looks of things, that itself might be postponed. That was being deemed Jobber Slam, along with the Jobber Cheers podcast. My great friends, we've been in business together for a long time. We've known each other for a long time. Joe Wilkins, Janelle, Mr. Black, and Dre. It is incredible to see that. Ideally, I would be able to put that show on, but honestly, I don't believe we're going to get any better until August. So, in my mind, I am juggling with running one of those two shows in August. I think by August, there's going to be a kit set for testing. And as long as you don't test positive, I think it's safe to continue. You might not be vaccinated, but if you know for sure you have not contracted the COVID-19, then maybe we can move forward by taking the precaution. Maybe just streaming and doing empty theaters on an independent level. But ideally, I think I wouldn't move forward until August, because just doing the research that I'm doing, I think that is an ideal time, because I think by then we'll be able to test to see who has it and who doesn't. And it's, hopefully that's a safe way to begin to rebuild for myself and all my fellow promoters and pro wrestlers.
I mean, it's crazy to even think about, we're in March, and it might not be until August or early fall that we get back to even remotely normal, or at least semi-normal.
Right. It's very scary. There's no one has any immunities to it, because no humans on the planet have been pre-exposed to it, because we don't have any antibodies to fight it, because this is literally something that's brand new, and it's a scary thought. But if you told me, hey, you have to go without promoting a wrestling show until September, but I know that myself, my fans, my sponsors, my workers are going to live, because we're not trying to do anything until that time, I'm going to take it. I think it's the safe way to go. I would rather be safe than sorry. A good friend of mine, really amazing worker, Saeed Al-Sabah, he posted, be safe. Don't worry about being right, because there's a lot of people who think it's a conspiracy or it's a bioweapon. There's so much out there. I've heard things like, it's the earth cleansing itself. Other people have said that it was planted because millennials are not reproducing at a high enough rate to keep the world moving. I just heard so many crackpot theories, and it's just we don't know what it is, but it's better that we're all okay, and then trying to figure it out once we are, instead of trying to be forget this, I'm just going to go party, I don't give a damn. That's not safe, because the people who are most affected are those with, immune issues, and the elderly. And I don't know about you guys, but my 79-year-old grandmother just beat a pneumonia, and I don't want to lose her to some beer flu after she, she kicked ass. 3 weeks she fought a pneumonia, she's out the hospital. She kicked the pneumonia's ass, so I'd rather be safe and make sure I don't lose her, because she fought tooth and nail to stay here, not to just get beat by some, craziness that's going on. And that's the mindset we all should have. Yes, there's little things oh my God, this round trip to Brazil is $47, but it is not worth it, because you'll go take the fight, you'll come back, you'll pass it on think that way. And it's a sad commentary on the human condition at this day and age. Like, there are things, people are really trying. I feel like the majority of comedic levels, with the meme games and the gifts, it's a whole different ballgame right now. They're trying their best. But you know what? That's all we have right now is social media has gone from a really toxic tool to, I've seen a lot of people band together and just do their best to try to add some levity and help people out. Like, you have to laugh. Like, you just gotta figure out something. Like, the schools are all closed down in New York until the 20th, and we're still having to come in to learn how to teach online and how to, practice social distancing and incorporate that in lesson planning or whatever. But, like, we're at work. There's no students there, and you understand, like, the gravity of the situation. But at the same time, if you allow yourself to be defeated by this just on a cognitive level, like, what's the point of fighting? Like, you have to live on, you have to carry on, take all the precautions, but live life to whatever maximum you're allowed, whatever you can laugh about, whatever you can enjoy. I know introverts are like, yes, I've trained for this my entire life. But you know what? Like, now's the time to just be better. Now's the time to really just take everything into account and realize what's genuinely important.
Yeah.
Words of wisdom and words to live by.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for taking the time and joining us, and hopefully by now you found the parking spot you've been looking for.
I'm still looking. Everybody, it's killing me. How are you guys holding up out there? How are your families? Hopefully you don't know anybody that's been directly affected by what's going on. Knock on wood, no, not yet. That's so far. We're good so far.
Yeah.
Good. Hoping for the best.
Yes.
That's it, man. Just keep doing that. Keep fighting. Keep pushing. Keep whatever you guys can do to uplift each other as friends, family members, and whatever. Like, reach out to those. A lot of people are having real tough time. Like, they're worried about paychecks and bills, and like, those things can wait. Like, just take care of yourself right now. Do whatever you can, and we will get past this. As a nation, as a planet, the human race always finds a way to get past these really awful moments in time. And once we do, we will be better for it. I just genuinely hope that once we do beat it, like, we continue to be compassionate and empathetic and loving and caring and supportive. Just because we beat it doesn't mean, we have the right to go be douchebags being like, people are dropping left and right. Like, let's just continue the love. That's what I'm hoping for. Like, do all this once we do get by, because we will. Let's keep being better.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody today, and they reminded me of what it was like after 9/11 and how we thought we would never get past that. And now I think in this moment and the way we are kind of living through this, I feel like when we get past this and whenever it is done and over with, I think we'll be able to look back and be stronger as a nation and for a world, as that matter. But like, we just got to make sure that we don't forget and we grow stronger from this as a community, as a people, and move on and make sure that whatever comes next, that obviously we'll be ready for it, because we can power through and get through this just like we've gotten through everything else.
Absolutely, man. Thank you guys so much for having me on. Thank you for reaching out. I'd love to be on once everything's back to normal and, we can get back to doing what we love. I know you guys wanted a perspective, and I'm happy I was able to help you guys out. Thank you. I appreciate you so much, man. We appreciate you. Come on.
Yeah, Joe, thank you so much for taking the time and talking to us and giving us that perspective. And I know it isn't said enough, but thank you guys, whether it's the promoters or the wrestlers or all the independents and any kind. company that really kind of just entertains us and lets us get our mind off of anything that's going on in our world. And we really appreciate the things that you guys do and bust your ass, and the things that we don't see, and the trials and tribulations that it takes to put on a show and permits and stuff like that. So we really appreciate all the work you guys do, and hopefully we can talk to you soon.
Right. And for the fans that are listening, like, now's the time to, like, go out and, not go out, but go and actively look up these companies that have been forced to postpone. Like, go become fans of these new promotions, because I know we're going to need you going forward. And, you know, like a couple days ago, I posted, you know, the entire show that we did in September. I'm going to continue to just throw things out there, more content. Like, go become fans of all these people in these places. You know, support your local businesses, even if they're working at half staff or only doing takeout, or, you know, whatever the corner stores are. Like, check in on your elderly neighbors. Like, let's take this time to be the best people that we can be.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Thanks once again for coming on and doing this, and hopefully maybe the next time we talk, independent wrestling and wrestling in general will all be back in front of the fans, and we can get together and finally see independent shows and wrestling in general live. So that would be great.
Yes. Have a great night, guys. Thank you so much.
All right, you too.
Take care, Joe.
All right, there you have it, our interview with Joakim Morales. It was great to have him on and talk to him again, especially the perspective that he was able to give us. And, I mean, it's insane the things that he has to go through and do, and especially just, you know what I mean, to keep afloat and make sure that everything's good and ready to go, and trying to schedule things and make sure that when it comes back that he has these events ready.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we said previously on the show, I mean, it's just a fucking weird and crazy time that, and the uncertainty behind it all, I think, is what got everybody up in arms and really worried. But, I mean, he was right, what he said. I mean, we're going to get past this eventually, and we just got to show a little bit of patience and be kind to each other. I think that was the big message, which I agree with.
Yeah, I mean, we will come out of this. This isn't going to be a forever thing. There will be a cure, and people will be getting better. So hopefully on the other end, we can just get back to watching wrestling, and those negative people that always seem to be bitching and complaining about something, maybe this will hopefully shake up their perspective, and we'll have a lot more positive looks into professional wrestling. So we can only hope that at least maybe something good can come out of it, at least as wrestling fans anyway.
And for the love of God, save some toilet paper for the rest of us.
So we hope you enjoyed the show, and hope you enjoyed the interview. It was great to talk to Joe again, unfortunately under these circumstances, but we hope that you guys take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and get through this as healthy as possible. So until next time, I guess we'll be talking to you soon.
Because we are the world. Later.